Hello, everyone, and welcome to Twillow Talk. I'm Tanis Coughlin from the Twillow Lifestyle Community, Twillow Lifestyle Academy, rushing to put my ears in. Yes, this is authentic conversation, folks. All right. So, I'm Tanis Coughlin, like I mentioned, and I'm joined by my beautiful co-host, Jennifer Tchaikovsky, and we are all about community. I don't know what I said, but it did. Okay, so we want to say hello to our community since we're all about community. Let's say hello to Hypnocity. Hey, Hypnocity, welcome. And we have Kaylee from Fogo Pogo. Hey, how's it going? We have Joyful Journey.
Hello, everybody.
Nice to see you all. So welcome. Oh, and there's your hello, Jen.
Hello.
So we have had an interesting weekend. I don't know. It was good for me, but I'm not sure how everybody else was doing. Where are we doing here? Where did I go? I'm all over the place here today. Sorry, guys. I'm doing the old switcheroo of things as we're getting comfy here. Jen, do you want to talk about the transits while I do this, and then we'll talk about the Schumann in a sec?
Yeah, sure. Let's talk about the transits because we're actually in a transition time. So right now and tomorrow, we're going to be in 31. So we kind of touched base a little bit about this, I think, last week. 31 is the gate of influence. And this one is about moving us from the energy of arrogance to the energy of humility through leadership, right? And so what that means is really kind of taking a look back and going, okay, how do I lead? How does that show up for me? How does that energy come forward? And am I in this kind of victim place of needing to be heard or needing to be, like getting that energy out. And sometimes we can get really caught up, right? The programming, or sorry, the other side of this channel is the 7, which is the alpha. And so depending on whether or not we have the full channel, this can come out in some different ways. And so it's really interesting because there can be this deep pressure to get your point across, to be heard, and to be like Richard talks about the repressive side of this, which is kind of deferring versus being pretty scornful in the reactive side. So just, if that's something that's been coming up in the last couple of days or, between today and tomorrow is something that comes up for you, just notice it's the energy and all of that. And then we're moving into the 33. And the gate 33 is the gate of retreat. And so this energy is very much about being able to balance that need for calm reflection, right? Privacy, things like that. It is also the revelation of secrets, right? So really kind of holding space for revelation to come. And that's not necessarily like from something that's being hidden from you so much as something that you just need to know, right? And so the energy of this, again, is moving from forgetting to revelation through mindfulness, right? So we really want to make sure that we're taking time to be mindful, right? And to hold space for that in our experience. Again, it's a throat, both of these are throat gates. And so they each have a voice, right? So I lead goes into I remember or I don't remember, which is also possible. But the energy here is about our memories. And so, this is where things like anxiety and depression and stuff like that can come in if we're becoming a victim of our memories. Right. And that can go either way of bringing back memories that are painful, but also, if we get really caught up in reminiscing about the good times and longing for what we don't have and things like that. So just notice where your memories take you and how much power you're giving them. Right. Yes. As you move forward through this energy. And also just kind of pay attention. It's interesting, as I kind of reflect on this energy. One of the things that Richard talks about, it's divine closure. It's this pattern of awareness, right? And this ability to, just allow in so many ways, right? Like, can we just allow? And I know I don't talk always about it, but the hexagram for this one, it's heaven over mountain. And I know that can mean a lot of different things for people, but being in the country and stuff like that, it's that piece of being able to just sit and reflect under the stars and just be a part of the awness of it and allow whatever needs to come to come. Isn't it a beautiful verb? I love that.
It is.
And to recognize that there is doing in being, right? And really holding space for that. A quote that Richard says that is just like so powerful for this energy. It says, "This gift can turn the whole of our life into a blaze of presence and peacefulness. Retreat does not have to be something that we do after we've been in action. The retreat can be the action itself. That is a gift from heaven."
Oh,
Right?
that's deep. Yes.
Yeah.
Because we do often associate retreat with, okay, I need to go on a retreat because I'm like done, whatever it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rest.
Yeah.
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 Interesting.
Well, and it's interesting too, like you put up Hypnicity's quote there about, being quiet to not go into conflict and whether or not that served us. And I think part of this energy really is being able to kind of step back and go, if I'm being really mindful about what's going on inside of me, then I'm going to be able to hold space. If I do need to address something, I can do that. And if I need to let something go, I can do that too. But if we don't take that time inside to get that, as he says, final revelation, right, of what's really going on for me in this moment,
Yeah.
then we can go into all kinds of reactivity and all that jazz, which is a whole other ballgame.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
But it happens because we're human.
C'est la vie.
C'est la vie. Observe without judgment. That's allowing as well. It is.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
That without judgment piece is so important. Judgment of ourselves, judgments of others, just judgment, period. The mind determining
it's polarizing.
bad.
It's usually polarizing, right? When we step into judgment. So that can be a difficult energy, for sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really can be.
So should I move on to the Schumann?
Give us some Schumann.
All right. Now that I've landed, I think I'm back in my body briefly. Here we go. So this is the Schumann for the last little bit. You'll see here we've got this big thing yesterday. And we were up in the 80s on the chart. So that is why we've got this huge jump here. So that would definitely be something that we would have felt. And then for your solar flares, we did have an X class yesterday as well. We're like kind of overnight. So that is going to be felt also in our stuff. So lots going on. There's quite a few M class that are right up there too, right, in the last few days. So we've had a fair bit of activity in terms of that. So hang on to your hat, guys, because we're like riding the waves still.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Hypnicity, we absolutely do. We live in polarizing times for sure, right? And I mean, it's not that polarity is a problem in and of itself. I think it's more the action and the emotion that we put to it than the fact that there is both sides, because we need both sides for balance, right? In terms of, you can't have light without a bit of dark because you can't see the contrast, that sort of thing. But yes, we definitely live in polarizing times. Yes, I was too, but I was busy the day before. having an awesome time. So
Well, having an awesome time because it was somebody's birthday. Sorry, I don't know which side you're on.
yeah, that aside. Yeah.
It's the mirror thing. You're over here?
Yes.
Okay, good to know. Good to know. It's not where you are for me, but at least now I know. Somebody's birthday. Yes.
Just like I don't know which way I'd point. For on the screen, you're that way, but apparently you're not. You're that way.
Oh, golly.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. We had a great time. So great. It's always wonderful when you can get community together, right?
Mm-hmm. Most definitely.
Mm-hmm. So that is our update.
Yeah.
So there's stuff going on, but there isn't. You know what I mean? Like there's those X class, there's some spikes in it, but we're still getting used to that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's happening all the time right now. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, awesome. A fellow Leo.
Oh, awesome.
Awesome. Mine was actually on Sunday. But yes, we're both Leos, indeed.
You know what's interesting? Okay, I'm going to share this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to geek out for a second.
Uh-oh.
So,
here we go.
No, it's
I love it when she geeks out. Don't get me wrong. I think it's awesome.
So Leo energy is the illuminated leader and courageous creator. And it's so cool that courageous creator is in there. So you think about this, like the whole like Siddhi gift shadow piece of it, right? Shadow conformity. Okay, got it. But what's so cool is the gift is courage and the Siddhi is creation. And now those of you who have watched this show know that Tanis has come up with her own word.
It was a Freudian slip one day, but it
combines these two aspects.
Yep.
Creative.
You've said it a couple of times already, actually.
So it's just so cool, like to see like, okay, here's this, Leo energy. This is what it's about. Being able to move and encourage into being creative. And then here's, Tanis coming up with her own, her own word to combine these two beautiful energies. Yep.
There we go. Let's be courageous.
Yes. Leave it to a Leo.
I can't take credit for that, though, really. That was definitely a guide thing.
Yeah. But I mean, like, how beautiful is that, right? Like,
yes.
Really embodying this beautiful gift, of bringing that together. And it's so interesting. Like, we talk about, like, each sign has its own way of kind of being in service, right? And so Leo is service to self-growth. And it does that through the will of intuition and manifestation, right? And so here it is, this intuitive insight, and boom, out it comes, and it becomes
it becomes a thing.
So sorry, I just had to geek out.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Hypnicity likes
it. Mm-hmm.
Kaylee says, Tanis got all the love. I did get all the love. It was awesome. It was awesome.
Hello, everything. It's so nice now too, because beautiful community and stuff, but actually getting to meet people face to face and being able to put a face to some of the names.
Yeah. And they were all like, oh, this is what you look like in person.
Yeah, there's more to me than just this section right here. I love it. Yeah.
Yes, I should hypnicity for sure.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Courageous.
I love it.
So yes, it was a lovely, lovely weekend. We had awesome weather here, which was amazing in Ottawa. for those of you that don't know where we are. And yeah, we had people come from far and wide, as far as Montreal, to come and join us. It was great. It was great. Lots of love to all of you who may or may not be watching now or later.
Yeah. Yep.
It's awesome. Mm-hmm. Definitely. Do we have a card for today?
We do.
It'll be interesting to see what this card is. So I've had an interesting day today of all sorts of synchronicities. So it's going to be an interesting card. I just know it's going to be an interesting card.
Does my life have room for more pleasure and play?
Oh, I'm going to make room.
I like that response. I do. Let's make room. All right. So let's see. It says, in what area are you lacking pleasure right now? Maybe in certain relationships or with work? Is it possible to shift the seriousness of life to experiencing a more creative, wild, and playful side of you?
See, it's all related. Synchronicities, all about creatus.
Today's soul action. What would happen if you added more play and laughter into your life? What area is lacking this right now? Take time to play. Let go of any need to produce anything.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a little challenging.
Oh.
That let go is a little challenging. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So big hello to Frances, who's following from Kenya.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Frances. Thanks for joining us. Great to have you. Kaylee says there's so many angels. Oh, angel numbers. Yes. Yes. And for play, we could blow more bubbles.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Those bubbles went over pretty well. I think everybody took a chance to blow some bubbles.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It helps with raising the vibration. It absolutely does.
Yeah.
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 Is it possible to be overjoyed? That is a good question, Hypnocity. So what does overjoyed mean to you guys?
Yeah, it's an interesting question. I personally would say no, in the sense that even coming from like the Sufi tradition and with the dervishes and there's the spinning, right? And that ability to just get lost in the moment of the joy of what that is, right? Or we talk about, you know, in different spiritual teachings, that ability to be lost in bliss, right? And to be able to truly experience that and allow yourself to be in it. I guess the question would be, if we don't come back from that, what would that mean for life, for our family and our loved ones and things like that? But to be in a place where we're overjoyed, I don't know if we hold enough joy to even allow ourselves to get there.
Well, I think on a regular basis, probably not. But, you know, there's times when you feel that. And I think it has to do with what Kaylee is saying here. The feeling can definitely be overwhelming, but it is just excess energy and we can release what we cannot hold. So for me, that's what overjoyed would mean. So happy that I cry because I just can't manage the energy. I'm like...
But then you are managing the energy through the tears.
Yes, exactly. But that would be what I would...
Right? Yes, where I like to dance and jump around and move and like that giddy kind of energy of, you know. Yeah, I don't know.
I tend to clap.
Amazing.
Maybe that's my theater background. I don't know. I have been accused of being dramatic, so you know.
Well, and I do that sign clap.
There we are. Overjoyed on my own is easy, but around people, I feel I got to sedate myself. Yeah, sometimes we feel that, right? We have to hide our feelings around others. And that's why, you know, it's great when you find a group of people that you don't have to do that with.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that was what was so amazing for me on the weekend, was it was like I didn't have to edit at all. I mean, that's part of what we do on this show. We don't edit because obviously, you know, if we were editing, I wouldn't be sitting here going, but
We're bouncing in our chairs.
You can tell we're not editing this. So, but you know, if you're at a business meeting, you're not sitting there doing that, right? So yes, there is a
Sometimes
difference.
you are. I mean, you know.
Well, our Twillow lifestyle meetings, we do that, but not too many of my HR meetings do I do that.
But this is the whole piece, right? About, you know, we especially this whole transition from childhood to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
We take life so seriously. We take our experiences seriously. We take our relationships very seriously. Everything that happens is so damn serious,
Yes.
right? And at what point do we allow for more joy back into our experience?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's true.
Mm-hmm.
And does joy need to come? So for me, this is a little bit connected. I don't think it's all the time, but it's something that I've noticed. So for me to feel that pure joy, it's really got to be spontaneous. It almost has to, you can create the space for it, you know, but
Mm-hmm.
it needs to be a spontaneous in the moment kind of feeling. I don't know. That's just me. I think I don't, if I can't, like, I shouldn't say I can't because I have, but I think it's easier for me to get into joy and overjoy when I don't plan it.
For
And
sure.
it just happens.
So this is where things like the happiness trap are so valuable to see. So if any of you have read the happiness trap, in there they talk about an experiment that they did with people. They had two groups of people. Sorry, I'm saying two and I'm holding up three, you know, whatever. There was probably like some other group somewhere. They just didn't talk about them. So
It was the control group. That's what it was. Control group.
So
All these studies have the control group.
you can't, you know, whatever. And so the first group of people they put in the room and they said, just be happy. Go ahead, just, you know, just be happy. And then the second group of people they put in the room, they said, do whatever you want.
Mm.
Right? Now, what they found, which of course, the group that went into the room with the intention of being happy had a really hard time being happy. And their rating after was so much lower than the group that went in and said, just do what you want. They played games, they watched shows, they read books, they talked to each other. They had a beautiful time because they weren't trying to make themselves happy. They just allowed it in their experience.
Yes.
Right? And I think that experiment bodes very well to what you were talking about.
Definitely.
About how if we go, okay, I'm going to be joyful today. It's like, well, okay.
How do I do that? Well, then you start this question,
Right.
right? And when you put expectation on yourself, like what Hypnocity is saying here, right? You put expectation on yourself. And then it's like, okay, I have an expectation now. I have to fulfill the expectation because that's
Right.
how we're brought up. We always have to fill our expectations.
And then where do you draw the line on that expectation? Well, I'm feeling some joy. Is that enough joy? Should I be feeling more joy?
Right.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't be feeling that much joy. But I could.
Maybe we should define joy before we start this exercise, you know? Like, that'd be me. I think we need to define joy. How do we do that so that we can measure? That's my HR stats coming through. Yeah. How do we measure joy?
Yeah. But that's it, right? We get so caught up in the mind, and the mind is trying to figure it out and label it and measure it. And here we come full circle, right? Again, back to where we were talking about earlier, and really understanding that energy, right? Like, how do we just allow ourselves to be in an experience and to be mindful of it as we're experiencing it? And then, you know, as Joyful said, meditation can make me overjoyed, right? Being present can actually bring us so much joy if we can be present as was also said, without judgment, in the moment, allowing, as we talked about with the transits, ourselves to just have an experience.
She's a quad Cancer.
Yeah, sometimes it's hour by hour, minute by minute, second by second.
Well, with the Schumann and the vibration the way it is right now, that is what it is. Yeah, I mean, yes, some of our signs there have a more difficult time, but for the, we're really, it is hour by hour. And a big hello to Mel. Hey, Mel.
Hello,
How's
Mel.
it going?
Joining us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Kaylee says, joy for me is a combination of my heart chakra expanding along with happiness. So love and happiness together. Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And I think, so yes, exactly. At least we know it will pass, right? When we're in that moment. Yeah. Kaylee says her body gets all like zoomy, like animal zoomies.
Oh my golly, the animals get such zoomies. It's so cute, but holy moly.
But it's like you stand on a chair and go, okay, go for it, guys. Let me know when you're done.
Yeah. But again, when we talk about like the waves and all of that, if we really look at it, and again, this is, the psychotherapist brain coming in, but if we really look at these moments, how serious are we being about a narrative that we're holding that's causing us or blocking us from accessing our joy?
That's true.
Right? Because if we talk about the fact that we carry all of our emotions within us at all times, right? And I love that teaching with Thich Nhat Hanh where he talks about how, we feel the one we hold on to.
Right.
Right? And so if that is the case, what am I holding on to in this moment? And am I holding on to it because I need to process it, because I need to allow it to flow through me, because I need to work to release it? Or am I holding on to it and holding myself in suffering? And that's not really what I'm meant to be doing, right? All of these emotions come as messengers. They're not meant to be our state of being at any given time. We're supposed to ebb and flow.
Yeah. So we're supposed to be having the emotion of joy as opposed to being joy, which is kind of sad.
Well, but also, I mean, if you think about it, we can hold all of these together at the same time. So
true.
Why can't
That was the most liberating thing.
Right.
When I came to that realization that you can be all of those emotions all at the same time. You don't have to define it as one particular emotion. Sorry, I interrupted you. Go ahead.
No, that's okay. That's it, right? It's if we recognize, okay, I can be all of these emotions at the same time, then even when I'm sad, I also have joy in me, right? So this idea of why can't I be joyous all of the time? I can be, right? It's just not always where my focus is. Sometimes I need to process that sadness. But even where the sadness is, and this is actually in the new Inside Out. They talk about where joy is, sadness is too, right? And it's such a beautiful like way for them to explain this process of really having all of these emotions within us and that none of them are isolated, not really. Right? And so, yeah, we can have joy all of the time at every moment. Right? But if we're caught up in a different emotion, we're blinded sometimes, right? We got those blinders on. That's all we see. And we don't actually see the other emotions, even though they're right there.
Well, and don't we tend to make ourselves feel bad about having emotions sometimes, right?
Oh, golly.
So, the old, so I've had clients come to me and they're like, a loved one has just passed, for instance. from cancer, and it's been a really long journey, and they're exhausted, and they've been, going to the hospital over and over again, and they pass and they're almost happy, right? There's that feeling of relief. There's the feeling of freedom, and yet also the sadness and the grief of losing someone that they love. And because this person has been in their life for so long, there's expectations around, I need to be sad more than anything else, or I need to grieve more than anything else. But we're going to go through waves of emotion during that time period. So it's okay to feel relieved and feel a sense of freedom, even happiness at that. And still feel that emotion of grief and sadness and loss. Like to have all of it at the same time, which is often what happens. So we end up with an overabundant amount of different emotions. And sometimes that can be overwhelming in and of itself, right? Because emotions are energy. So, and we can be happy that they've moved on for them, and happy that they've moved on for us, because they're no longer suffering. Like the whole thing with grief is there's a whole nuance of emotion, right?
Yeah.
And we try to somehow, as humans, we think you've lost someone, you need to be sad, or you need to be in grief.
Yeah.
And it's not always like that. Nuance, relationships are all nuance. And so sometimes it can be there's this push-pull feeling, like we're supposed to feel this way, but we're feeling this way right now. And then you add guilt into that because of feeling not what we're supposed to be feeling.
Exactly. And what is this supposed to anyway?
Exactly.
I mean, really. And it's interesting. I've had this conversation with clients before too, because, especially in the mental health world, there's these stages of grief. This is what you go through, blah, blah, blah. And people
Which
are
are
like,
not linear, by the way.
No, not at all. And we don't always go through all of them. And some are maybe weighing more than others in our reality. And so being able to really own there is no one right way. It's okay. Right? And I think that that's part of the message for this card about having more room, have room for more pleasure and more play, is again this note of how we judge ourselves, and we hold ourselves by these standards, and these standards don't really make sense. Right? Where do they come from, and why?
Who said we should?
Yeah.
The royal we. Who's the royal we?
Who is that? Who is they?
Who's they?
They all say.
Who is that anyway?
Who in the world is they?
It's true. Where do you find that? Who is it that was they? Was it your parents? Was it the TV show you were watching? Was it the news broadcast? Like, who was that they? Where did it come from? And usually it didn't come from like right now. It's something that got embedded like years ago, and you just think you're supposed to follow up on something in a way that it's happened before.
Well, we're conditioned, from previous lives. We're conditioned generationally through, but we're conditioned so much that by the time we're actually born, we've got conditioning within us, right? Yeah. And so we look at that and then we go, okay, that just continues on throughout growing up and all the experiences that we have and everything else. And until we're able to actually look at it and go, hold up, this belief is not even actually my belief. This is something I've been conditioned to believe, right? Does this actually serve me to have this belief? Do I really want to still have this belief? What does this belief do for me?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. And that's part of our awakening process. That's part of the healing process as we go through, we talk about the healing journey. It's about learning. It's about taking that belief, pulling it out and going, no, no, I don't really believe that anymore.
Yeah.
And then tossing it out and replacing it with the belief that you do have or that you wish to have. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. And being told like, you should be sad, or you should be grieving, or you should feel this way, or you should feel that way. And reading, the comments that you guys are making about people who passed, who were bedridden or had dementia, right? There is a relief,
Mm-hmm.
right? When they go and you go, okay, like they're not suffering anymore. We're not holding on to all of this responsibility. And
Yeah.
then, we're talking about like that empathic piece,
Yes.
and recognizing, yeah, we do. We feel other people's emotions and we feel what's going on around us, protected or not. Like we still can feel it. Even if we
Mm-hmm.
have, things that we're still going to feel, especially people that we love and we're close to and we care about. Whether we take it on or not is something else. But, to be able to hold space and go, yeah, like this person in this body was suffering,
Yeah.
right? And they're now free. And my physical form is going to miss their physical form, but that doesn't mean that they're not still here.
We're all still connected, right?
What's
All of us.
interesting. So I'm going to share a personal story. My grandmother, my grandmother was like my everything. I pretty much grew up with her. When I didn't go to my dad's on the weekend, I went with my grandmom, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to her house every day after school. Like she was, like I said, my everything. And when she passed, it was really hard knowing that she wasn't in the physical world anymore. But I still talked to her all the time. I still was able to connect with her. And so there was almost this like deeper connection because now she was there anytime I needed her.
It's true. You can have that. Yeah.
What hit me harder was the day she came back.
She came back. When she came back to see you, you mean?
No, when she decided to come back and have another life.
Because then she wasn't quite as
Available.
available.
Now, it's interesting, right? Because we talk about the continuation of all things. And what is really beautiful in that moment was, again, that joy,
Mm-hmm.
so joyful for her and the adventure that she's decided to go on.
Mm-hmm.
That sadness for me,
Mm-hmm.
going, you're not as easily accessible anymore. Although part of her energy is because we're never fully anything. Like we're split
Yeah.
so many
Her
different,
higher self is still super available, right?
right? So
So,
we've got all of this, energy happening. And it was such an incredible moment of really embodying joy and sadness at the same time.
yeah,
Right. And I
for
just,
sure.
when I think about how emotions play, right? And again, this is that labeling mind of this is good, this is bad, this is this is that. But when we don't take our narrative so seriously, it's like, okay, I can sit in this joy. I can have my own sadness to work through. I can have excitement, right? I
Yeah.
can have all of these things, and that's really beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, indeed.
I know we got lots of comments going on. Hello,
Hey, Mohammed.
hello.
Welcome. Yeah. So Kaylee says when her grandmother had dementia, when she passed, it was relief more than grief. And same with Hypnocity.
Yeah.
It was a freedom. And so Ming has something an interesting thought too.
Mhm.
Wondering if we could download joy from past lives so that we can experience massive overjoy. Absolutely. So if you can identify a moment in a past life where you were totally joyful, just have the intention of going there.
Mhm.
Be in that moment again, because time and space is not linear.
Yeah.
And we can astral travel and go there and just feel that energy.
Tap right back into it.
Yeah.
And we can bring those energies with us. I mean, if you think about it, we definitely bring the trauma with us. Why can't we bring the joy with us?
Exactly. Exactly.
And what's really cool, so when I feel joy, I don't feel other people sad. Yeah. So, yeah,
It
it
is
is.
protective. Yeah, very.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we don't, yeah, we're not as open. to picking up those kinds of energies.
Well, it's a frequency thing, right? So, like the sadness and stuff is all like grief is the lower vibration emotions. When we're in joy, that's like one of the highest ones. So there's such a difference that to be pulled down is more difficult, right? Like if we're just in, yeah, I'm all right today, then it's easier because it's closer on that sort of spectrum. So I don't know. That's how I see it when I see it as because that's what I see as a spectrum of the energy of it. And so,
Yeah.
if you're this far away versus this far away, it's much easier to go from here to there. But
Yeah.
I don't know. That's just my linear brain working through it. It's not
Yeah.
linear.
Well, no, I mean, I really appreciate the idea of frequencies, and frequencies do play a huge role, and they impact us every moment of every day. You walk into a room and somebody's at a different frequency, you feel that shift,
Oh, yes,
right? Like
definitely.
you just feel it.
Yeah.
And if it's a good one, you're like riding that high.
Yeah.
Cool. And if it's not a good one, you're like, frig, man.
Yeah.
Like,
Why did I come here again?
that's heavy stuff. I don't want to carry that. Right. And so we do have to be really mindful of the energies that we're around, but we don't always have a choice.
Yeah.
Right. And so being able to have some of that protection and all around us is huge. And the more that we can stay in that positive place, the more we can recover, I guess is a better way of putting it, from those negative hits sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. Because it helps to raise the vibration.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What was coming earlier, I just want to say, because
Yeah.
before we move on, so in EMDR, which is eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, one of the first things that we do before we actually get into doing the reprocessing is resourcing. And part of that resourcing is bringing in different figures. They're called the resource team. Right? So you've got protective figures, nurturers, wise figures, and then a spiritual figure if you want to do that. And what's super awesome is, like, we can have, it can be real, imagine, it can be anything you want. But what's beautiful is tying that back to our higher self, right? And allowing ourselves to connect with that part of us, right? And to bring that in. And so if we're talking about joy, we can do that too, right? And we can hold space to bring these aspects of ourselves into our reality. And we can actually use that bilateral stimulation to tap that energy in so that it's more readily available for us, which is such a beautiful thing that we can do. And that helps with protection. It does help with, if we know that we're going into a place and it's going to be hard, we can actually do some work, right? And it doesn't have to be the clinical side of it. Like, these are things that we can do for ourselves.
Yeah.
Where
Self stuff.
Yeah, well, future template in EMDR is exactly that, right? It's about, okay, this future situation is causing me anxiety, thinking about it, going into it, all of that. Cool. What resources do I know I have available to me that I want to bring with me into this situation, right? We're not going through 50 million different possibilities of how the situation could play out and determining all of the different ways we could respond to it. We're not worrying about all the things that could go wrong and how we're going to handle them. What we're really looking at is, can I trust me no matter what happens? Do I have the resources in me to be able to just navigate whatever comes my way?
Right.
That's what I'm going to tap in. Right?
Yeah. Trusting yourself can be a huge thing, right?
Yeah.
If that's something that, a lot of people work through in terms of, so I've let myself down. I've said I was going to do this and I never did it. And I've let myself down. And now I have to trust myself to do this. This is an interesting dilemma, right? Just, it's something that happens though, So anyway, interesting. So we have a few people to say hello to. Hey, Sonia.
Hello.
Nice to have you. Thanks for dropping by. And Lady Annie.
Hello.
Hey, you. So, yeah. So we're talking about joy. I know it doesn't sound like we're talking about joy, but That's our topic. Joy and playfulness is our topic.
Mhm.
And we have to talk about the other side of that so that we're not, you have to
Yeah.
talk about both to sort of get into that, right? So
Mhm.
that you're able to see the contrast.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and when we talk about even the piece on here that was a little bit harder, right? Letting go of any need to produce anything, right? And I think that that's such a beautiful thing in the energy of the 33 that we're talking about. We have the tools within us, but at times we need others to believe in us. Yeah, I'm
To
respark.
respark our spark.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Mhm. And that's also sometimes we do have to go in, right? We have to go
Yeah.
in for retreat. We have to be able to take that time. And, it's such a beautiful energy, that I remember energy, because that's exactly what, was asking about, from, previous lives even, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
can we do that? And yeah, can we remember a time where we had joy in our experience, overwhelming joy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can we allow ourselves to be mindful and sit and reflect in that place of joy and hold space for it in
Yeah.
this moment, right?
Yeah.
And that's all part of this 33 energy we're going into. So, I mean, again, can't make this stuff up. It's a perfect
Exactly.
topic. But also that piece of, you know, of produce, right? And I loved the quote from Richard that I said earlier, because it is that idea of, retreat is an action.
Yeah.
Right. And so we think of production, or, having to do. And again, our minds have such a set way of what that is supposed to look like, but that's not necessarily how it's meant to look,
Yeah.
right? For our experience.
Yeah. Exactly. Can you
Mm-hmm.
read the card again? Because I think I have a question for the audience, but I just want to hear the card again.
The front of the
That
card or the back of the card?
just the front is good. Yeah.
Does my life have room for more pleasure and play?
Okay. So pleasure and play. So keep in mind, this is a family show, folks.
Sorry, that was a loud laugh. But
How do you play? What is playful for you? Family show.
so here's something really funny I can talk about while people are telling us about that. So I came home today, went for a walk with Ray, and I came back, and Quinn was like, "Hey, Mom, I've got this new drink. I made the perfect drink. Come try it." And I'm like, "Okay." So I take a sip, and I'm like, "Oh, it's really sugary," because, it was a really sugary drink. It's Quinn. It's okay. Um, and then he starts laughing, and I look at him, and his mouth is blue, 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 blue. And I was just like, "You just dyed my mouth blue before I go into a session, didn't you?" And he's like, "Yep." Like, cool. Thanks, buddy. That's how we play.
Oh my goodness. That's
You
how he
little
plays.
bugger.
That would not be how I play.
But he was so happy, right? And to
Yeah.
Kaylee's point of like
Yes.
childhood, like childlike joy. My God, the kid was like bouncing off the walls. Hilarious that he dyed his mom's mouth blue before she had to go meet a client.
Awesome. Yep. And Sonia says, playing can be anything. It's like inner child healing. Go out and do something playing like we did as kids. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So once a year, every year, we have a lot of trees in our backyard. So once a year, and I play more than this, but this is the biggest this is the time where I actually plan play. The other times I plan joy. We rake all of these leaves, and it makes piles of leaves that are like almost up to my chest. A pile of leaves. So I go and dump in the leaves.
Mm-hmm.
For me, that is like the smell of it, touching the leaves is so grounding and joyful, and it makes me feel like a kid.
Yeah.
That's one of mine.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I love that.
And bubbles. We did bubbles on the weekend, and that was very childlike, very playful,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Oh,
Well,
yes, we did do that too.
there you go.
Yes, I did not, however, do pouring the whole thing down his back, but
Mm-hmm.
it
Well,
was
I wanted
playful.
to have a scooter race, but
Yeah,
I
you
couldn't
did.
find an opponent.
You had a reluctant one, I think, at one point, and then it faded. So
But we
yes.
love to go like out in the rain and go puddle jumping, and just really enjoying just nature and
Dancing in the living room.
dancing. Mm-hmm.
That's playful.
Yep.
We did that line dancing thing in your living room. That was
So
quite
much fun.
it was.
So much fun.
Yep.
But that's it. I mean, we can find play anywhere, right? If we're
Mm-hmm.
open to it.
Mm-hmm. I find joy, especially from drawing from my childhood interests.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted a tie bow DVD when I was young, then won one from Buy Nothing. I was so overjoyed. I went to collect it at my neighbor's house. Her toxic husband was there. I noticed his toxicity, but not affected by it. The tie bow joy protected me.
That is
Love
awesome.
bubbles. Yes. Awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Standing in the rain is a favorite for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is a nice, that's so cleansing too, right? You can ground and allow
Right.
the rain, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. We're going to go. I have a vacation coming up in the middle of August. So I'm taking the kids down to the shore because that's where I grew up, right? Going to the shore. And
Yeah.
so we're going to head down there. And I remember the first time I took them there. I have a picture of it. And it was like we came right over the dune and they're standing on the top of it. And Ray was like little at the time and just went, and then just started spinning in circles.
That's so much fun.
Right? And I
Yes.
have a picture of that spinning happening. And it's that, when we talk about childlike joy,
Yeah.
that is what, I think as we get older becomes like overjoyed, right? That is so joyful that you just have to move, you have to spin, you have to, be so physically and mentally and emotionally in that moment that everything else just fades away.
Yep.
Right. And all you can do is just move to the joy of it. And so, yeah, that's what we're going to do is go back and that'll, that
Beautiful.
in of itself brings so much joy for us. I
Yes.
love the ocean and the kids really do too. And we don't get to see it as often anymore being here.
Yes. Yes. This is true. This is true. So we have our timekeeper, and she's letting us know it's 5 minutes. Thank you, Kaylee.
Deck there. So we do seeds from the sacred feminine.
This is for your home play. Remember, it's not homework, it's home play. Especially since that's our topic today.
Our topic, pleasure and play.
Go and be courageous. Draw, because that's the other
pleasure
thing.
and play with today. And we got move your body.
There you go. Women dancing in the woods. Looks good to me.
Don't even it's all so connected.
Can't make this stuff up, folks.
Yeah. And there's dragonflies. But yeah, and circle dance.
Yep.
And see. And then there's even some people up top there. So, okay, here we go.
Okay.
Here we go. My gold nails are falling apart. That's okay. You guys don't care.
Matter.
All right, here we go. You have become too sedentary, grandchild. If you have been given the gift of an able body, honor it now by using it. Remember the freedom of your movements as a child. You raced and climbed and fell with effortless joy. It is time to let your physical body move in this carefree and youthful manner. Your physical body deserves great respect. Honor it now. Walk instead of drive. Skip instead of walk. Linger in stretching poses and loosen your muscles and lubricate your joints. Inactivity can become a habit. Do not let this happen. When one part of the medicine wheel is out of balance, the others cannot thrive. Your physical body is a miracle. Revel in its wonder. If you are in pain or are suffering from an illness, your physical body can help you. Be not at war with the discomfort. Listen and honor its messages, and in whatever manner you are able, move and dance and play. What a relief you will feel.
You can't make that stuff up. How? The words are in it.
I know.
It's so funny.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Move and dance and play.
Move and
Allow
dance and play.
yourself to feel the joy of just moving.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely. So what have you got coming up this week?
This week, I don't have anything else specifically, but next, let me just double check and make sure I'm correct with this. I'm not making stuff up because yes, next Monday, the 5th, I'm on with Gerald at 2 o'clock Eastern, and we're going to be talking about reflectors. The lunar authority, because we're doing authorities. And so we'll be kind of diving into that. And what's beautiful is like reflectors, yes, they have to follow lunar authority, but the moon impacts all of us.
Absolutely.
So learning to follow the moon's pattern, understand what's going on with the moon, that's really something for all of us to be able to understand. And yeah, and then I'm going to be on with Ramsey next week as well, but we'll talk about that one next week. It's just Gerald's is before, Gerald's is before us next week. So I want to make sure I bring that one up.
Very good. And I'm on with Gerald again tonight, as a matter of fact. So all of you that are out there, if you're watching, we want to offer a tarot class with Twillow Lifestyle Academy. And we want your help because there's so many different ways to learn how to play with tarot. So we want to have a conversation tonight about that. That's what our live is about. So come and talk to us about tarot. I'm sure Gerald and I will be having conversation about that. He's got a fountain of knowledge about tarot, tons of it. And so it'll be a great conversation, and come and join us for that. And then we have also, what else do I have? I have, I guess nothing else this week as a thing. We have Lamasse coming up, so that'll be a thing, but that's more an overall, if you do that is on Thursday. The following week, I do have an introduction to the Galactic Shaman program on Thursday, the 8th, Lion Gate Portal, at 7:30. And then we're going to have, at 8:30, we'll have a Lionsgate Portal ceremony. So if you guys are interested in that, please tune in. I'm going to post them this week so that you can sign up. And that should be a lot of fun as well. So
very cool.
That's what we have coming up.
So what time did you say your thing with Gerald tonight is?
7:30 tonight.
Okay.
And it's all about tarot.
Perfect.
Tarot Talk as opposed to Twillow Talk. Or it could be Twillow Tarot Talk. You know how I like my keys. Okay. Tanis. Yeah. Anyway, so Hypnocity says she wants to learn. That's awesome. And Kaylee says beautiful. Awesome. So please remember to play this week, folks. Find a way to play. Dance around the house. Be courageous. Draw, paint, play.
Yeah.
And we want to wish you a wonderful week. Enjoy the beautiful summer weather, whether it's raining or sunny, because we can enjoy the rain. And we will see you all next Monday.
Yeah.
Have an awesome week, everyone. Take care.